Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name's Amy. This is Happily Scented Homes and I am an independent Scentsy consultant. I review anything Scentsy, vendor wax, home fragrance, all of that stuff and whatever my else fancies to put on my channel. So today I have a special video in regards to Lavender and Speckles. Beth so graciously reached out to me a little while ago, probably back in December, and she had asked if I would collaborate with her for the upcoming Pride and Prejudice collection that she will be debuting on February 8th. It is a whole collection of individual blends and samplers, and she wanted me to collaborate with her on one of the samplers in particular because I had suggested in the Facebook group, in her opinion, this is what she said to me, a whole bunch of different earthy blends that she hadn't had a chance to use yet, and she wanted to have the opportunity to do that. And the fact that this whole collection, she used a lot of people's customs, so custom scents that they had created themselves, and then other ones that we created ourselves. So I agreed and jumped right on board because I love earthy scents. And when she said that my sampler was going to be the English countryside sampler, I immediately started just screaming off the top of my head, and I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect, this is just me. I love earthy, I love mineral, I love grassy, I love floral, I love linen. I mean, this is just Amy in a nutshell. And when I thought of English countryside, I thought of things like picnics on the rolling hills, the white wicker basket, like picnic accessories, the white linen, scones and tea, and just like the flowers and everything like in a spring bloom. And then if you're, on the English countryside where there's a beach, the smell of that salty sea air, and then maybe you have your, linen hanging up and, floating around in the breeze, that type of thing. Like, I had so many ideas. So when I created the sampler, there was a couple customs that people had done that I definitely wanted to incorporate because they just sounded amazing, and it sounded like something that I would come up with originally myself. So it just felt good to include it with the sampler. So we have 10 here. And I do have them all, so I'm going to snip them with you guys. So that way you guys can kind of see what they smell like and see if it's something that you might want to pick up on February 8th when the collection drops, and that type of thing. So Lizzie's English countryside sampler. So the first one we have is North Downs. Okay, so the first idea that popped in my head was her gardenia and apples. Beth's gardenia and apples by far is my favorite apple blossom, apple spring, floral type of scent ever. Like, Scentsy hasn't even made one that I would warm over Beth's. It is just so phenomenal and so stunning that I knew I wanted to mix that with something. And I wanted to mix it with white tea, and I wanted to mix it with sage. So that's what I did. So it's her gardenia and apples, and then her white tea and sage type. You guys, this is so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So it definitely smells like her gardenia and apples, but it's more subdued with that white tea. And the sage just brings like an extra dose of freshness and like greenery to this and herbalness. Oh my god, it just screams springtime. It just screams springtime. You're walking through an apple orchard in the spring, and I already just dropped the lid. So I love the way that one came out. So there's that one. And I apologize if I cough. I am still recovering from my cold. I do have a cough drop in my mouth, and I do have a hot drink, so I'm going to try to talk a little bit slower than I normally do. But if I cough here or there, I apologize. It just is what it is. Okay, the next one. This one, by far, is my favorite one out of the whole sampler. Out of the whole sampler, this is my favorite one. So I wanted like an oak. I wanted like an oak scent, but I also wanted it to have vanilla but I also wanted to have a little bit more complexity. And Beth had mentioned that she had this spiced honey and patchouli oil. And I was like, sign me up. Sign me up. It's going to go perfect. So that's Brighton. Brighton is white oak and vanilla with velvet vanilla and spiced honey patchouli. Let me tell you, this is something. Oh my gosh, it is so good. It is literally velvety, smooth vanilla. And that spiced honey and patchouli makes it a bakery without it even being a bakery. It is crazy. Oh, this spiced honey and patchouli, man. This is my new favorite scent profile. Oh, it is so good. Such a stunning performer. So, there's that one. This next one, Parsonage. I wanted a bakery. In the sampler. And when I was thinking about English countryside, I was thinking of picnics. And I'm like, okay, well, what would they bring on a picnic? They'd bring like scones. They'd bring like little tarts. They would bring tea. They would have like these little crumpets, you know, things like that. So I'm like, I want something like that. And we played around with a different couple of bakery oils and it just wasn't hitting the right spot. But we found this oil and it worked perfect. And then we added a few things and it was even better. So Parsonage is buttered toast with lavender and raspberry preserves, sweet hay, and a hint of sopapilla. Now I wanted the sopapilla because I wanted like a cinnamon sugar and I wanted it to incorporate that buttered toast. Like think of like that after school snack that your mom would make. It'd be the buttered toast with the cinnamon and sugar, you know, rubbed right into it. That was like legit the perfect snack. Oh my gosh, I actually want some now. And then the lavender and the raspberry preserves. I wanted preserves in here. I wanted some type of like raspberry, but the lavender and the raspberry, oh, such a great combination. And that sweet hay just makes it fresh. It makes it feel like you actually are sitting outside eating the butter toast with the raspberry preserves. Oh my gosh, it is so good. It's a very light bakery. It's not super decadent or gourmand or anything like that, and I didn't want it to be. I wanted it to be a lighter bakery, but it is so good. Okay, River Tames. Now this one is a custom. It's somebody's custom, Renee P. She did this custom, and it had an oil that Beth wanted to include with the sampler. That was like the only suggestion that she had gave me, is that she wanted to do more with this particular oil. So when I had saw that someone had already come up with a custom, and I had asked Beth a few questions about it, just because I had never smelt it before, I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect for this sampler. So we're naming, Beth named it River Tames, and it's the Happy Camper with sage and morning raindrops. Again, I love sage. Sage is perfect for an English countryside sampler. And I love rain. If anybody knows, I was ecstatic when Thunderstorm from Scentsy came back. But I love rain. I love morning mist, like all those types of scents. Oh my gosh. This literally smells like you're down by the river and you're smelling that water like come up across the banks, and all of the fresh greenery and like the soil and the minerals. It's, oh my gosh, it smells so good. If you liked, I would have to say, if you do like Thunderstorm from Scentsy, it's not floral. That's the only thing. There's no floral notes in here. It is mostly the dirt and like the soil and like minerals from like the riverbanks, and then the grass and the herbs from the sage, and then you get the aquatic notes. There's no floral in here, but it's so pretty. It is such a pretty spring scent. These are going to be so great to warm like in the next couple of months, so I cannot wait for you guys to have that on your hands to smell, because it is just divine. The next one is South Downs. So we had North Downs, now we have South Downs. Now, South Downs is another custom by Ashley O. She had come up with this, and I thought it was absolutely perfect. And I wanted a pine cone. I wanted to use a roasted pine cone because I love Beth's roasted pine cone, and I wanted to use it in the sampler. So South Downs is fresh mountain air, vanilla birch, and roasted pine cone. And it's everything. It is everything that I wanted it to be. This custom is gorgeous. You get the vanilla birch, but you also get Beth's roasted pine cone, and you definitely get fresh mountain air. Like you're literally hiking in the mountains. It smells like Maine in the summer. This is what that smells like. Oh, it's just so pretty. So freaking pretty. Excuse me. All right, Derbyshire. All right, this is one I came up with because I wanted to include lemon and lavender and vanilla sandalwood. So we were like, well, those all sound great together. Let's just put them all together. And that's what we did with Derbyshire. So this one is lemongrass, lavender, and vanilla sandalwood. And it's exactly what that smells like. The lemongrass is like an icy lemon, and then the lavender, and then the vanilla sandalwood. This is what I would have wanted Scentsy's lemon lavender to smell like, but it didn't. This is what it should have smelled like. If you like icy lemon and lavender and a little bouginess with the sandalwood, you are gonna love Derbyshire. So that's that one. All right, this one, I was so excited. So because I had done in a previous custom with Beth, her black cardamom and creme oil. I absolutely love that oil. It is something that is like tickling all the right spots, and I want to do more and more and more with that oil. So I had done one with my customs, but I said I want to include it, and I had mentioned to her when I was doing that custom about mixing it at some point with lavender, and she thought it was a great idea. And I figured, you know what, we're going to include it in the sampler. And you know what we're also going to do? We're going to try to dupe whipped vanilla lavender from Scentsy, because I feel like that scent is perfect for an English countryside sampler. So that's what we did, and we named it Lavender Malo Fields, and it is black cardamom and creme with lavender and coconut milk and campfire marshmallow. And you guys, it's not an exact dupe for Scentsy's whipped vanilla lavender, but it is so close. And I feel like it's much prettier and softer. Oh, it's so good. The coconut milk and the black cardamom and creme really help blend out all the other notes that are in here. And the campfire marshmallow doesn't make it too smoky. It is just perfect. All right, Lake District. Now, this one, I wanted to include a moss. I like moss. I like oak moss. I like rock moss. And this one was hard. This was the hardest one, I think, out of all of them for us to create, because what we wanted to put in it, it wasn't working, and then we had to take things out and put things in, and finally we got the right combination. So the Lake District is by the fireplace type with vanilla birch and moss. Now you're saying, how is this different from South Downs, which is the fresh mountain air, vanilla birch, and roasted pine cone? This one, you get the oak moss, you get like a rock note because of the moss covered rock. It's more outdoorsy. It's more resonant than this one. This one's more fresh mountain air. This is more like in the deeps of the riverbank, like that type of thing. It is good. I really, really like that one. Excuse me. And then this one, White Cliffs of Dover. I wanted a laundry scent because when I thought of English countryside, I just pictured them all like in white clothing, you know, thin material, the linen with the spring air, all of that stuff. So this one is her High Tide. And then this one actually, it was a custom by Christina P. So when I saw that and it had all the stuff that I wanted, I was like, okay, this is perfect. So it's High Tide, Beechwood, and White Tea. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So good. It's laundry, but it's not overdoing. Like, the laundry note is not overpowering at all. The white tea definitely helps calm it down. And that beechwood makes it like you're on the beach. It's such a perfect custom that it just had to be included in here. And then last but not least, we have English Meadows. So I definitely wanted a scent to represent the English countryside, like actually sitting down in the meadow, rolling around it like Laura Ingalls, that type of thing. So this is using somebody's custom, but then blending it with something else. So Gail had come up with Bartlett Pear and Sage, which I believe was like in a fall pre-order, that it was in a sampler. And I had asked Beth, I said, have you smelt Bartlett Pear and Sage with a floral? And she's like, yes, actually I have. I've tried it with wildflowers and it smells amazing. So I said, okay, I think we need to include that. And I'm so glad we did. This totally reminds me of, it's not an exact dupe, but it's like a sweeter version of Woodland Meadow from Scentsy. And that's kind of like where I was going too. The Bartlett Pear just brings the sweetness to it. The sage is in here, giving it that herbalness, and then the wildflowers gives it that floral note without it being like headache, heavy, perfumey floral. It is perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Literally smells like your Laura Ingalls just rolling up and down the countryside. It is awesome. And I have all kinds of bits of wax going. So that is the English countryside sampler. I hope you guys like the way I described it. I hope you pick it up. I hope you enjoy everything in it. I had a fun, amazing time with Beth coming up with the sampler, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. I'm going to start warming them this week, so that way I can upload my thoughts on the Facebook group, so that way you guys can see it there as well. Reminder that the Pride Prejudice Collection does come out on February 8th, and it is a pre-order, so no RTS Hunger Games or anything like that. So yeah, let me know in the comment section if you guys are intrigued or interested in any of the blends I talked about here. If you have any questions about the blends, drop them in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer them there as well. And as always, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye guys.